Hi, this is Derek Regensberger, and welcome to another episode of the Clarinet Connection, your source for gear and product reviews and practice and performance tips for the clarinet. In today's episode, I'm going to give you my 2025 Clarinet Fest report. There were a number of vendors at Clarinet Fest this year, which was held in Fort Worth, Texas. And if you've never been, it's really a great opportunity to try out any number of instruments from various manufacturers. So in today's episode, I'm going to focus my show report on the clarinets themselves. And in another episode, I'll look at accessories like barrels and mouthpieces. At the show this year, I had the opportunity for the first time to play virtually all of the clarinet models, one after another with the same setup. And I hadn't been able to do this in the past. There's really no music dealer in my neck of the woods in Colorado that allows you to try out various instruments. So one of the things that I tried to do was really give a good comparison so I can give you some good feedback. I'll give you my 2 cents worth and kind of my impressions of what's out there. And frankly, there's a lot of really exciting new models and gear that's out there. So let's get into it. First of all, in 2020, end of 2024 and 2025, there's been about 4 new models released. So at the end of 2024, Selmer released their new Présence. So that's their kind of entry-level professional model. That's Selmer's equivalent to the R13. Backun has come out with a new kind of what I would call mid-level professional model, the Essence. And so this is, I think, an exciting new product for them. It would be, I think, Backun's equivalent to the Buffet Festival. As I mentioned in my show report in December, Buffet had updated their festival model at the end of 2024. It's been popular, so much so that it was sold out at virtually all the dealers. The only one that had one was Loff and Pfeiffer from Denmark, so obviously they are hard to get right now. One of the most exciting new models is made by RZ Clarinets from the Czech Republic. And what makes this clarinet so unique as a rubber and brass lining to prevent it from cracking. It's going to be protected against the elements and is really, I think, one of the more interesting models that we've seen come along in quite a while. It's known as the hybrid because of the fact that it combines, alternative materials like rubber and brass with traditional wood. I hope to have that here in a few weeks so that I can give you a more full review. It's really a cool new product. And then finally, Uebel announced their new flagship model, the Vision. And as we'll talk about, the Vision is built off of the Zenith line, but really comes with a few upgrades that I think are well worth a look. So let's get into it, and I'll kind of briefly run down each of the manufacturer models and give you kind of an overview of what each of them offers. First is Yamaha, but they have a line of 3 clarinets that I think is pretty exciting for professional players, as well as a couple of intermediate models. They're known for having really impeccable intonation. The lineup in the professional line starts with the CSVR. This is a clarinet that is relatively free-blowing. It has a very, I think, bright tonality to it. It's kind of a, if you will, an equivalent in price to the Buffet R13 or the Selmer Présence. It is, I think, a clarinet that it's become very popular, again, because of its good intonation. It's going to have a little bit of darkness and power in the low register. It's, again, pretty free-blowing. But it's not going to have the darkness and richness to the sound that, say, the Buffet would have. But again, your trade-off is that you don't really have to work a lot at modifying pitches because it is so well in tune from the bottom to the top. The middle point of the line is the CSG. It's in its third generation. The CSG is more of a German bore, so it's got more power to it. It's got a darker sound, but you pay for that with a little heavier resistance. It's not as free-blowing as, say, the CSVR. It is really a unique sound for Yamaha, and again, if you're looking for a clarinet that has a little heavier resistance, I think the CSG is worth a look. The last model in the lineup is the SE, and kind of there's two versions of this, the SE VR and then the SE Artist. The Artist has a couple of extra features, such as gold posts, but the SE is a little different bore. It's designed to give a little more refined sound. It's not as free-blowing as the CSVR. It's kind of I think a blend between that and the CSG. It still has that French bore, French sound to it. I would say it's pretty comparable to a Selmer Muse. Next in the lineup that I looked at was Backun. Backun has basically 3 professional models currently in their lineup. It starts with the Q, goes up now to the Essence, and I'll talk more about that here in a minute. And then their mostly top of the line model would be the Custom Series, which is sort of headlined by the Lumiere. They also have a carbon fiber model, which I did not get a chance to play. But they really have, I think now, a pretty compelling full lineup of clarinets in their professional line. I would say that the Q plays like a more refined version. It's a little refined version of an R13. It's a little less bright in the high register. It doesn't have the overtones and kind of the ring or the ping to the sound that the R13 has. So it's a nice, very smooth, refined instrument. The Essence is the middle of the lineup, and it's kind of a toned down version of the Lumiere. It has many of the features of the Lumiere, but it is several $1,000s less than the Lumiere. So it really is a compelling price point. Again, it's designed to compete with the likes of Buffet's Festival. What makes I think the Essence really kind of an intriguing offering is that Backun has designed this with resonance in mind. So you're going to get more ring, you're going to get more kind of an open sound than you would from their other models. And I really think they've done a good job with this particular model. And again, I hope to have it in-house for a more complete review here in a few weeks. But I really enjoyed playing this instrument, and I think it's well worth a look by players who are looking for something with a little brighter sound, a little more powerful sound than a Q and R13, that sort of thing. One of the cool things with this instrument is that you can customize it a little bit. It does come with the auxiliary left-hand E-flat key, but it also has the option to add a feature that's found on the much more expensive Lumiere, and that is the automatic low F and low E vent. And then finally, the top of the line, the Lumiere. What's the difference? It's going to be a little bit heavier all around. It's a more robust instrument than the Essence. The Essence weighs about 810 grams, and you're adding about 30 grams of weight for the Lumiere. So it's quite heavy as an instrument. In comparison to Buffet's line or many in the Yamaha line, for example. So you're adding extra weight, gives you a little more robust tone to the instrument. It doesn't have quite the ring, though, that the Essence has or some of the Buffets have. So it is, kind of the top of the line. It comes with the automatic low E and F correction. And so it is simply a little more robust clarinet. But again, it's roughly about $3,000 more in price. All right, next up is Selmer. Again, Selmer had just updated their Présence, which is their kind of entry-level professional model. They also offer the Signature, the Privilege, and the Muse. And then they also kind of have a unique offering, which is the Recital. And I've talked about the Recital particularly with regard to A clarinets in the past. So the Présence, again, is Selmer's R13 equivalent. It's a really nice instrument. It's quite free-blowing. I think it has a little darker, more rich sound than the older model had. So I think it's closer to an R13 than the old Présence. It plays better. It's just, I think, overall a more compelling instrument. I like it a lot. The next model in the lineup is the Signature. It's one of their oldest models. I think it's pretty resistant. Some reviewers find it to have low resistance. Michael Lowenstern in particular rates it as having a low resistance. I find it pretty hard to blow. It's not as resistant as some clarinet models, but it's definitely more noticeable than even, say, the Privilege. I think it's designed more for a player that really wants to play with a lot of strong air support. For example, it's quite popular with orchestral players, most notably Stephen Williamson with the Chicago Symphony plays on one. Produces, I think, an interesting, unique sound. It's one that's not particularly dark, but it is one that it projects quite well. So for that reason, a lot of orchestral players like it. The Privilege is the next in the model. Again, it's a little more resistant than the Présence. I think it allows you, a little more complex tone qualities. It has very good intonation. And again, it's just going to require a little bit more air support than if you're used to, say, an R13 or a Présence. The Muse is kind of an interesting model. It has a little rounder, more full sound to it than some of the other Selmer models. It has, I think, a little less projection, so you're going to sacrifice a little bit of power with the Muse. It is, again, somewhat resistant, but not overly so. I find that I can get a good full sound from the instrument. The last model in the Selmer lineup is the Recital. The Recital is built and designed to have a richer, darker sound to it. It's 2 millimeters thicker in the wood, so it's significantly heavier. For example, the A version weighs about 100 grams more than most typical A clarinets, and kind of a similar weight penalty if you are looking at a B flat. The trade-off, of course, is that you do get that really rich sonorous sound. It is much more resistant. So again, if you're playing at altitude or you play with hard reeds, typically you're going to have to go down in reed strength to really take advantage of some of the benefits that the Recital offers. Because of its thick wood, the Recital has been known to crack, or add-ons that Selmer offers is an Evolution line, and most of their clarinets in the professional line have the Evolution as an add-on. It's basically a rubber lining that protects the wood and keeps the tone holes in wood from cracking in the upper joint. It does not have that lining in the lower joint. So really kind of a unique offering, and it's a way to prevent your instrument from cracking, and in the Recital line, I think that would be well worth the upgrade. All right, next up is Buffet. So I'll kind of run through the various lines of Buffet. You basically have 3 line choices. The first is the R13 line, which starts with, of course, the R13 and goes up to the top with the Tosca. The next line is the RC line. It's a little more kind of muted version of the R13. It's again a polycylindrical bore, so very similar feel and French setup to what you're used to. And then there is the Tradition line, and the Tradition line is an old conical bore design, which came from the pre-R13. Many players have kind of gravitated to those old historical instruments because they have a very big sound to them, and it is, you know, kind of that darkness and richness that have attracted people. And so Buffet offers both the tradition and the legende. In the R13 line, you have the R13, the Prestige, the Festival, and again, the Tosca on top. The differences between them, the R13 is kind of a nice kind of medium sound to it as far as volume of sound and projection. It's got a rich low end, and its high end is very bright. It can be a little bit challenging intonation-wise as you go up in the register, but overall, it's has been the standard, professional standard for a number of years. The Prestige is essentially the same thing as an R13, but with better wood. And as a result, I think it projects better. It has a bigger volume of sound. Again, it's going to have a little bit of spread in that high register, but it has a really nice low-end sound to it. The Festival is going to be kind of I think the lightest feeling of the instruments. It's the most, it's the most well-rounded instrument. You can use it for any number of types of playing, whether it's jazz, klezmer, classical. It's really a well-rounded instrument. It's designed to be an all-purpose clarinet. I think the sound profile of the Festival is it's less dark than the other R13 models. It's got a very bright sound to it. It's a very easy-blowing, free-blowing clarinet. And so as a result, a lot of players are really attracted to it. Greg Agide of the Michael Bublé Big Band is a big promoter of the Festival. And as I said, it's been redesigned to help with intonation, particularly, if you look at middle C, D, E, F, those notes can be a little bit wonky. And the register tube, that sort of thing, was moved up a little bit. And so it's designed to help kind of smooth out the intonation of the instrument. And I think generally in the test I was able to do, it seems to be a very polished instrument. The last in the line is the Tosca. The Tosca is basically just designed for power and sound production. It's got smaller tone holes, and so as a result, it just has a bigger sound. And the drawback of it is it's going to be more resistant than the other models in the R13 lineup. In particular, I think the newer instruments just feel more resistant even than my older Tosca that dates from 2008. If you're looking for a sound that projects through an orchestra, again, the Tosca is popular with a lot of orchestral players. This is a great instrument for that. In the RC lineup, the RC and the RC Prestige are two of the main instruments, and then the Divine sits on top of that line. The RC, again, is known for having a little bit more mellow sound. It's not as bright as the R13 line. It's a little more refined. It's very popular in Europe because of that. It's not so popular in the United States. This was the first opportunity I had to play the Divine. And it's a nice instrument, but again, you can feel that it's just a little more reserved. It has a great, really rich, dark sound to it. It's a beautiful sound, but again, you're not going to be able to get the same power that you'll be able to get out of the R13 line. Finally, there's the Tradition line. The Tradition line is, I think, for players who are interested in getting the most richness of the sound. That's a very pretty sound, but the bore design is different, and as a result, you're going to find that it is a much heavier resistance than any other of the Buffet models. The Legende, I had an opportunity to try out last year. It produces a great sound. It's a gorgeous looking instrument. It comes with gold posts in addition to silver keys, but again, it's very challenging to get a big sound from it. So you've got to be a player that has very strong breath support. And again, if you're going to play this model at altitude, you're going to have to lower your reed strength. There's simply no way around it. It's very popular with solo players or chamber music players because it blends, it's got that rich tone to it. Next up is the RZ line of clarinets. RZ is a Czech brand, as I mentioned previously. And RZ produces a number of clarinet models. In their profession line, they have the Bohema, they have the Solo, they have the Capriccio, which is sort of the top end, if you will, of that line. They're relatively reasonably priced. They range anywhere from about $4,000 to $7,000. And they produce a really pretty sound, no doubt. I really like, it's my first opportunity to play any of the RZ clarinets, and I really like the sound that they produce. I would say that it has a nice brightness to the high end, a good low end. They're not going to be as powerful as, say, the Buffet R13 line, particularly like the Tosca, but they, I think, produce a really well-rounded sound. The most interesting product that they have, though, as I mentioned at the outset, is the new hybrid model. And the hybrid model is, instead of having, you know, simply a material that's made of you know, a resin like the green line models the Buffet offers, it has a whole lining and a brass lining to it and rubber lining that helps prevent cracking. And so the tone holes and parts of the joint are reinforced with this material. So it really provides a whole different you know, look and feel for the instrument. If you were a player that plays outdoors, the big benefit of this is it's always going to have the same response. It's not going to vary in temperature like wood instruments do. You know, you're going to be sharp when it's warm and flat when it's cold. This particular instrument, you're always going to be on pitch. It's not going to require a lot of warm-up. So if you're having to switch back and forth between instruments repeatedly, it's a great way to, you know, have that kind of immediacy. It's the same idea as if you had watched my video on barrel reviews. I reviewed Adoni barrels, and Adoni uses a brass ring inside. A couple other barrel manufacturers have that, that same idea. So really it's a great addition to the clarinet lineup. So check that out and check back in a few weeks. I hope to have a review of that. Another clarinet manufacturer that was worth a look, and I've had an opportunity to play a little bit in the past at the Midwest Clinic, is Patricola. And Patricola is an Italian clarinet. I think they're known for their sweetness of their sound. It is not as full and big a sound as some other clarinet manufacturers, but it really has a sweetness, a beautiful feel to the instrument. It's very free blowing. So if you want to put the resistance in your barrel, in your mouthpiece, in your reed, but you don't want the clarinet to work against you, Patricola is a great option for you. They have a couple of different lines, the Artista and the Concerto. The Concerto is their newest model. It's been out, I think, for a couple of years now. And it's a beautiful instrument. They can be made with either silver keys or gold keys. They're really striking to look at. They have different wood choices, so you can get either Mopani or the traditional Grenadilla. It's really, I think, an interesting brand and well worth a look, particularly if you're looking for something that's relatively free blowing. The price is also relatively inexpensive compared to some of the higher end models from Buffet, Backun, etc. They tend to range in price from about $4,000 to $6,000. And obviously if you add gold keys and things, that can add cost to the instrument. Now let's talk about a couple of the German clarinet manufacturers. Uebel manufactures the instruments for both of these makers. So both Schwenk and Seggelke and Uebel are manufactured by the Uebel company. And Schwenk and Seggelke offer some really innovative designs. They're based on kind of the German bore, the German sound. So you're going to get a very powerful instrument. It's not going to have the ring that French instruments have typically, but you will get a very strong, powerful, dark sound from any of the instruments that they offer. They're also trying to combine some of the innovations of the German Oehler system with the French Berm system. And so you can buy a completely, German setup from them, but you can also buy a Berm setup that looks just like any French clarinet. So what are some of the benefits of kind of combining those? You can get roller keys. So if you have to slide, for example, between a C sharp key, something like that, you can get roller keys that will allow that transition to be a little bit smoother. On some of their higher end models, they offer extra kind of throat tone vents so that you can get stronger throat tones from A and B flat. They also offer some interesting wood choices. In particular, they have a new prototype that's made out of leadwood, which you can guess is a kind of a dark gray color. And it really provides a powerful sound. I had an opportunity to try out their A clarinet, and it's just a big booming sound. I would say it's comparable to something like a Wurlitzer, and it is really kind of a unique sound. I really enjoyed playing that clarinet. All right, last but not least is Uebel. And Uebel has really tried to create a bigger presence in the United States in about the last 3 years. Obviously, their main artist is Ricardo Morales, the principal of the Philadelphia Orchestra. And Uebel offers a number of models. I'll talk about 3 or 4 that I had an opportunity to try out. The first is the Rev. As you may know from my review of A clarinets, I own a Rev A clarinet. The Rev is the entry-level professional model. It's relatively inexpensive. It runs about $3,600 in its base setup. And I think the big distinguishing feature is it's incredibly free blowing. You can put a lot of volume into this instrument without a lot of effort. And so if you're somebody that just doesn't want to work breath-wise to play into the instrument, the Uebel Rev may be an option for you. It's designed to have a French bore, so it has very much a sound profile of many of the French instruments. It is, has a dark low end, a bright high end. Uebel prides itself on being a small manufacturer. They want to have quality over quantity, and it really shows with the products that they make. The next in the lineup is the Romanza. They did not have one to try out. From what I heard, it is very much a small, intimate instrument as far as the volume, the shape of sound. So it's going to be, a solo instrument. It's not going to be one typically that you're going to play in an orchestra or a large band. It's just not going to have the projection of an instrument you would need in that situation. But it is certainly an offering if you're looking for that type of instrument. Another in the lineup is the Superior. And the Superior is, I think, Uebel's answer, if you will, to the Lejeune and Tradition series. It's a very dark sounding instrument. It's really quite rich and warm, but it doesn't produce a large volume of sound. It's more resistant. So it's an instrument that takes a little bit of getting used to. That said, the E-flat version in this lineup, that's the one E-flat that Uebel makes, is really quite extraordinary because it's a little more resistant. It's a little smaller shape of sound. It kind of tames down some of the wild child nature of E-flat clarinets, and it's really quite a special E-flat clarinet. The next two are the sort of the high end of the Uebel lineup, the Zenit, and the now newest in the line, the Vision. The Zenit is really designed to have kind of a big sound to it. It's a little more Germanic sounding than the Rev. So you're going to have, again, that big powerful sound. It's not going to have a lot of high-end ring to the sound, but it produces quite a beautiful sound. I had the opportunity to see Danny Goldman play a recital at Clarinet Fest. He's one of Uebel's artists and plays on a Zenit, and it's really an extraordinary, powerful sound to it. The newest version, though, the Vision, I think is really an incredible and new and exciting product. It is a clarinet that offers a lot of the same elements that the Zenit has, but its bore design, its tone hole design is a little bit different. You're going to find more ring to the sound. It's going to sound like a big French clarinet sound to it. Has that high-end ring, that low-end power. It's really a great sounding instrument, and it's relatively easy to blow. So it has a little bit of resistance that you need, but not too much. I think it's really an outstanding offering from Uebel. All right, that concludes my summary of clarinet models that are out there. I will be again doing a review of kind of auxiliary accessories. I'll also include some E-flat models that I had a chance to review, and you're going to want to tune in for that. The 3D printed clarinet, E-flat clarinet that's new from Pereira 3D printing was pretty astonishing. So tune in next time for the Clarinet Connection, and thanks again for watching.